Hello, 大家好. Hello, 大家好. Today we're going to be talking about names and surnames in Mandarin in this video. So let's take a look. So Chinese names are often comprised of 2 or 3 syllables. They're comprised of a 1-syllable surname for the most part. There are some 2-syllable surnames, but it's mostly 1 syllable. And then a given name. Surnames are called xing in Mandarin, and given names are called ming. So you'll get the combination, like we saw in the title, xing ming, for full name, so surname and given name. Now, the surname in Mandarin, the family name, comes first, followed by the given name. So for example, Zhou Jielun is a famous singer. Zhou is his family name, Jielun is his given name. So his English name is Jay Chao, based on Zhou for his English surname. And then since each character has meaning, names are carefully selected to both sound good and have good positive meanings. And so some parents will even ask a fortune teller to help them pick a lucky name. So for example, Zhou, we know is his surname. Jie means extraordinary, and then Lun means like peer or order. So his name together means like extraordinary and peerless, if you were to interpret it based on what the characters mean altogether. Alright, now you might say, hey, I don't have a Mandarin name, what is my Mandarin name going to be? So most of the time, if your language does not use Chinese characters already, it'll just be based on the sound of your name. For example, down here we have Barack Obama, who you might be able to guess who that is the American President, Barack Obama. However, countries that did use characters or continue to use characters like Japan, Korea, Vietnam, do keep their characters and also will keep their original order. So you'll notice Barack Obama, his surname comes second. It's separated by a dot. That'll often happen with Western names so that you can differentiate which part's the given name, which part's the surname. Whereas the second person down here, Dagu Xiangping, is a Japanese baseball player called Shohei Ohtani, who his name is the opposite order of what it is in English, because in Japan they also use the same order of surname followed by given name. Alright. Now, how do you ask for someone's name in Mandarin? The most basic thing that you've probably learned in class is 你叫什么名字? Literally, you're called what name? That is the one that you'll see the most often. It's not impolite, but there are even more polite ways to ask. Another one that you might hear is 怎么称呼? Like, how are you called? You can answer this in the same way. We'll go over answers in a second. One for just asking your surname that you'll hear pretty often is 您贵姓? Or someone might just ask 贵姓. 贵 means honorable. 姓 is surname, so it's a much more polite way of asking for someone's surname. 您, we remember, is the formal form of you, of 你. So 您 is extra polite, so 您贵姓 is the most polite way to ask for someone's surname. If it's just an acquaintance or someone that you don't have to be as formal with, you can also ask 你姓什么? You have what surname? So 姓 is both the noun, a surname, but it's also a verb, like to have the surname, blah, blah, blah. Alright, now to answer each of these questions, if you want to say my name is, you can say 我叫, literally I'm called, and then your name. 我的名字是, my name is, literally translated. That is also an okay way to express what your name is. If you are asked for your surname, if you're asked 您贵姓, you might say 免贵姓, and then your surname. So for example, I would say 免贵姓涂. And then you could also say 我姓 plus your surname, so I would say 我姓涂. Alright, let's take a look at a couple of dialogues here. So here we have 2 people, they're meeting each other in a more formal scenario. You'll notice the person asks, 您贵姓? 免贵姓王, 怎么称呼? 我叫张立明. We have our dialogue here. These are all things that we know already. Wang is a surname, of course. Zhang Liming, you can tell, is a name. Now let's take a look at a little less formal scenario. This person says, Hello, 你叫什么名字? 你好，我叫李美，你呢? 我叫高文迪. So here we have 2 names, Li Mei and Gao Wendi. Those parts we know, and we remember our greetings from the greetings video. 你呢? That's another question. That's just asking the same question back to the person who's asking. So for example, it's how about you in English. So 你呢? How about you? You can also add 呢 to other people. So if these two people were meeting Zhang Liming from the previous episode or the previous dialogue, then someone might ask 张丽明呢? Well, how about 张丽明? You just add 呢 to the end to ask the question again. So I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you in class. 再见.